let us move down the list. I want to go in your top 10. Well, I'll just go to the guy. I'm going to do it.
Yeah,
we're on YouTube.
I didn't know what to do.
So you put Deion Sanders number 7. Now I didn't leave Deion Sanders off my list. I put him at number 21, and I had what I thought were very good reasons for him to be at 21 and not higher and not lower. My thing with Deion is the first year at Colorado was not very good, but he learned from that, grew, changed. But also, they didn't win the league despite having the 2 best players in the league. And so that's a bit of a problem. But I still suspect they will have the most top-end talent in the Big 12. And you can say, well, okay, that makes it easier for Deion. No, that's the superpower. That's what we just got through talking about with Ryan Day and Kirby Smart, about how they get top-end talent and put it together. Deion Sanders is more capable of getting top-end talent than any other coach in the Big 12. So I suspect he'll move up my list. I think you have him a little high, and I want to compare him to another person on the list, because this is another one you got crushed for where you put him. You have James Franklin at number 15. Ari, you're the AD of a program that has lots of money, that's in the Big Ten or the SEC, that on the right year can compete for a national title, that recruits well, recruits in the top 10 year after year, or recruits, top 15 year after year. 2 candidates are willing to take your job, James Franklin or Deion Sanders. Who are you hiring?
You texted me this question, and it wasn't as specific, but you said, who are you hiring, Deion or James? And I responded with what I still think is my answer. It just depends on where.
Okay.
I think that James Franklin would
Georgia. James Franklin. Auburn, James Franklin. Michigan, James Franklin. Ohio State, James Franklin. Penn State, obviously, James Franklin.
Yeah. I guess. The problem that I have with James Franklin,
by the way, if we want to go the other way, if we want to go to schools that don't traditionally win, because Deion did a really good job this year. They won 9 games. James Franklin won 9 games in 2 different years at Vanderbilt.
Yeah. Yeah. The problem I have with James Franklin, and maybe this is just recency bias, is that he has been a coach who has routinely lost every important game that his team has played for like 7 years.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's a long time. Like, it's not like, oh, okay, you're giving him crap because they haven't gotten over the hump the last few. Like, this is like, what was the stat? Like, he's like 2-20 against top 10 opponents or something. Like, it is insane.
So the same problem we had with Ryan Day until just a month
except
ago.
Ryan Day's problem didn't span almost a decade. So like that, like there's a, at a certain point you got to do it, right? And like, I guess like if you think that James Franklin is a better coach than Deion Sanders, like I have a hard time like in this scenario being like, oh, you're unequivocally wrong. The thing that I will say is that I think that Deion Sanders possesses the ability to do something that not a lot of other people can do.
I agree.
And
but I just don't think he's a better coach than James Franklin right now. I think Deion Sanders will move up my list because, again, he is.
But James Franklin is probably viewed as a disappointment by a large portion of his fans.
Yeah, because the job's really hard.
Yeah, I mean,
Deion won less games than James Franklin this year.
It's like on one hand,
do you think Penn State fans would be excited about that?
See, I think that like well, no, but it's a completely different.
Is it
a completely different place and circumstance?
Okay, put James Franklin at Colorado. Would James Franklin have Colorado winning?
Year 2 was on the cusp of making the playoff, dude.
Like, yeah, because of the system. Would James Franklin in this system have Colorado and competing for the Big 12? Of course he would.
Here's the long and short of it. I believe that Deion Sanders possesses an ability that very few other other coaches possess.
Very few. I agree with you.
And that's the reason. And not on top of that, I think that Deion Sanders also did an incredible job learning from mistakes, hiring coordinators, getting players to buy in. Like the coaching aspect of it, I thought was because I thought that Colorado was very
right,
well
and that's why he's on the list for me, and so not on the list.
Like, and if you think that I went too high, like I'm not going to be like, oh God, you're an idiot for thinking that.
Yeah, you went way too high.
He
belongs on the list because of the growth from year 1 to year 2 at Colorado because of his ability to get elite talent to Colorado. Like, those are really good things. I just thought, this is wild. You have him 8 spots ahead of James Franklin.
Yeah, but I also too wonder too, like, if you did the same test with your list that you did with mine.
Sure, let's do it. Go for it.
Like, is every single of the 20, because you had Deion at 21.
I did.
Is every single coach ahead of him an unequivocal, yes, I'm hiring him at Georgia over Deion? Is that how you did your list?
No,
like,
not necessarily. No, not necessarily.
So then why did you do that to me?
Because it's more fun to do it to you.
Oh, okay.
Because
I'm like, would you hire
James
Lincoln Riley or Deion right now?
Deion. Because it's more fun when I win. No,
do you see what I'm saying though?
No,
like,
I do.
Like, James Franklin has been at a high pressure job. He has created a program that wins 10 games every single year, no matter what. So from a safety standpoint, putting him into Georgia is a much more
most of
these
situation. Most of these guys I would, because they have won.
Well, don't look at the top 10. Look at the.
No, I'm looking at like Kyle Whittingham, Matt Campbell, Lance Leipold.
Do you hire Sharon Moore over him right now?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Before the Ohio State game, no. But
Matt Campbell at Georgia over him?
Yes. I'd hire Matt Campbell anywhere.
Kenny Dillingham at Georgia over Deion?
Yes. Kenny Dillingham.
So then it sounds like
Kenny Dillingham won the league that Deion coaches in. Now I'm rethinking where I put Lincoln Riley. This is more me rethinking where I put Lincoln Riley than where I put Deion.
Because here's the thing, too, and it might be the case, but if we go through your top 25 list, is every single person that's ranked behind coaches somebody you would not hire over coaches that are ranked ahead of him? Like, is it always, is that just like is that what
you say? It's almost always job dependent, but that is basically where you're at. I mean, that's you got to rank them somehow.
Yeah, and it's like if you're going to go hire a coach for a middle tier Big Ten or SEC team that has a national championship ceiling, are you going to hire Brian Kelly or are you going to hire Sharon Moore?
Yeah,
like even though Brian Kelly has a longer pathway of being successful, he might not be the best.
I mean, right now I'd probably hire Brian Kelly. So, let's.
Would you hire Brett Bielema at Georgia or Deion Sanders?
Deion Sanders. I want elite talent.
And Brett Bielema went to the SEC.
We've seen Brett Bielema in the SEC.
But
yeah,
Brett Bielema's 8 spots ahead of him. So like that's not the right way to look at it.
That's true.
Well, I guess
if
the man
we're talking
flowers for turning around an absolute dumpster fire.
Program
that like was hopeless and like
I thought putting him on the list does that. I didn't. Yeah. I didn't know if you had to put him in the top 10 to do that.
So the thing that I do regret, and it's not, you're not going to get me in like a gotcha moment, but like, would I hire Deion at Bama over DeBoer or Heupel or something? Probably, probably not. Like,
probably not.
You know, but that doesn't mean. But I still think that Deion Sanders has done a better job at Colorado than Kalen DeBoer has done at Alabama so far.
Here's the thing, because Deion is younger in his coaching career than almost all of these people. If he shows the same kind of growth this year that he showed last year, then you might say yes to that.
And if Colorado stinks this year because they don't have Travis Hunter and Shedeur Sanders anymore, then I'll look like an
idiot. You'll have it. No,
but like
you'll have your answer. But
yeah,
I suspect he's going to be okay. I don't know that they're going to be dominant, but I think they still are capable of getting talent that the rest of the Big 12 might not be able to get in some spots, and I think that's going to help them.
And he's without question. And like on your list, Kenny Dillingham's a spot ahead of him.
Right, because he won the league that Deion coaches in.
Deion Sanders probably has a better long-term ability to get the best players to come to his school in that
But I'll tell you exactly why I had Kenny Dillingham ahead of him.
Okay.
Kenny Dillingham inherited just as big of a dumpster fire as Deion did.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, yeah, I mean, they were in trouble.
Yeah, the Herm Edwards, the Antonio Pierce stuff, like everybody was leaving. It was an absolute mess.
Well, here's the thing with Kenny. And I'm a Kenny guy.
Yeah.
Kenny is perfect for ASU. He was like born to be ASU's coach.
I think that works in a lot of places, though. What he does works in a lot of places. He happens to be home, but what he does would work in a lot of places.
Yeah.
And but that's okay. I don't want to shortchange Deion there. What Deion does works everywhere.
The question that we don't have, or the answer that we don't have.
What Deion does works everywhere, because if you put Deion at Kansas, he'll get better players than Kansas can usually get.
The question I have is, does Deion work at Georgia?
I think so.
Because like then why would you hire anyone else?
Because he's
over him.
He's got money to hire whatever assistants he wants at that point.
And you want to talk about acquiring talent? Like, why would you hire Chris Kleiman over him?
Yeah,
at Georgia from that standpoint.
Yeah.
Like I question.
Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe talk me into it.
But like I also feel like Deion rescuing a dumpster fire is a hell of a lot different than going to a place that wants to win a national title every year.
Right. Because improvement, while nice, isn't good. It goes back to the James Franklin thing.
And it also goes back
James Franklin won how many games this year and people were still pissed at him?
I don't know if people were pissed at him this year, were they?
I think they were pissed about the way that the Orange Bowl ended.
Yeah.
But yes, he was one game from the national title game and people were still pissed. So
yeah, but Deion Sanders is an interesting, like, because there are two people on my list that are very hard to rank. I ranked Deion pretty high and I ranked Bill Belichick somewhere